Hi guys, it's Wes Harrison with Above and Beyond Auto Repair, and this video is about starting problems. I'm actually on my way back from Colorado from doing some indoor skydiving training for my skydiving hobby, and so I've got 9 hours ahead of me, and I thought I would make some videos about different subjects that I get asked a lot. On this video, we're going to go into troubleshooting starting problems. Now, right off the bat, if you put your key in the ignition and you turn the ignition, to the start position, and nothing happens, take note if the security light is on or flashing. On newer cars, the key has a transponder inside of it, and that's why the head of the key is so big. Aftermarket keys may not work, or if they do initially, they may not after a while. The reasons are long as to who, what, when, where, why. But if your security light is flashing and it's an aftermarket key, go get the right key. Plug it in there and it'll turn off the security system and you'll move right on along. Now, if the security light's flashing and it is the original key, it depends on what kind of vehicle you have as to what you can do. I am going to summarize it real fast. If it's anything other than a GM, you cannot reprogram it. It has to go back to the dealership to be reprogrammed. If it's a GM, there is a way to reprogram it, and it's real simple. You turn the key to the on position, not start, just to the on position for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, turn the key off, turn it back on for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, turn the key back off, turn the key back on for an additional 30 minutes. Total time, 1.5 hours. The security system will reset itself, or should reset itself. Sometimes you got to do this 2 or 3 times. So it's important that you hook a battery charger to the vehicle, especially if you have the kind of car where the headlights come on automatically. Otherwise, the battery will be kaput at the end of an hour and a half with the headlights on. GM's the only one you can reprogram that way. Ford and Chrysler, they got to go back to the dealership. All the imports, if the security system triggers, have to go back to the dealership. But now I want to say this. I haven't had any issues with the imports security systems. It's usually Ford, Chrysler, and GM that I have the issues with. That's why I'm sharing this information with you. Now, if you put the key in, you go to start it, and you get absolutely nothing, and you notice that none of the lights are on or anything like that, you've probably got a dead battery. So, get a jump start. When you get it jump started, you have to find out why the battery died. Either something got left on, or the battery itself is no good. So have that checked. Usually a tow truck, rather than towing it, will give you a jump start. But whatever you do, do not pull off the battery cable on a computerized vehicle, because you can ruin your entire electrical system. The battery acts as a stabilizer and keeps the alternator from going to max output. If an alternator goes to max output, it can put out 18 volts, which will fry everything, at 130, 140 amps, which will just absolutely fry everything. So you don't want to pull off a battery cable, or don't let Uncle Joe pull off a battery cable and go, oh yeah, alternator, this is how we test the alternator. Don't do that anymore on computerized cars. Have it checked the right way. As a general rule of thumb, if you jump start it and it shuts itself back off after just a couple minutes, the alternator is not working, or for whatever reason the charging system's not getting the juice to the battery that it needs. A short circuit battery can also cause a problem. Now, if you put the key into the start position, you turn it, and all it does is go click, 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 click. Either the battery is weak or the starter is going out, one or the other. If you know the battery's good and all you get is a click, then that's your starter on its way out. Usually you've got to pay pretty quick attention to that right off the bat. There are other little things. If you put your key in, you turn it, and it just cranks and cranks and cranks and cranks and cranks, but won't start, it may be a lack of fuel issue. Generally, if you put your key into the ignition, turn the radio off and everything else, on almost all cars that I can think of, if you put your key in, you turn the key and you listen very, very closely, you should hear a little bzzzt for approximately 2 to 5 seconds, and then it will shut itself off. If you hear that, that's the fuel pump coming on. That's a good thing. If you don't hear that, there may be a chance that the fuel pump has gone away and it's not working. Now at this point, there's a couple things you can do. You can have somebody get out of the car and stand by the gas tank and listen, put a stick to your ear or a screwdriver or something like that, and if you put it on the car, you'll really hear it. But you can put your ear, take off the gas cap, put your ear to it, and have somebody turn the key on, and you should hear it go bzzzt, and if you do, the fuel pump's working. Another reason that it may not start is lack of gas, and you'd be surprised at how many cars get towed in that are actually just out of gas. So always check and make sure it has gas first. Now, if you turn the key and you don't hear that little buzzing noise, try smacking the bottom of the gas tank. If it starts, you are on borrowed time as far as your fuel pump's concerned. It's going to need one soon. That is the actual test that I use for a fuel pump. If I don't hear it, I'll get out, I'll smack the gas tank, and if I hear it then, I know it needs a fuel pump. It's the same thing as on a starter. If a starter's going click, 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 sometimes you can smack it with a hammer and it'll work 1 or 2 more times, and that is, I mean, that absolutely, without any question, definitely you got a starter problem. Same thing on the fuel pump. Smack it. If it comes on, great. Get to where you're going because you're on borrowed time. It needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed fairly quickly because it's only a matter of time before it goes out. Security system, clicking noises, and then fuel systems, and then the last one is a mechanical failure. Timing belts, timing chains, stuff like that. Timing belts fail far more often than timing chains do, but timing chains do fail. I'm not going to go into the timing chains because it's so rare that that's not an issue, and there's nothing you can do about it yourself anyways, and there's nothing you can do about the timing belt yourself unless you're pretty mechanically inclined. But I want to tell you what to listen for, because when you crank your motor over, if it's timing belt driven and the timing belt has gone away, when it cranks over, it won't sound normal. It'll crank over faster and it'll sound odd. If that's the case and you have a timing belt driven motor, sometimes, most cars, you can take off the oil filler cap, have somebody turn the key, and you can see the little parts inside. Usually you can see them moving. If they're not moving and they're staying still, but yet somebody's cranking the engine over, then the timing belt has gone away. Now on a Honda, this is bad news because it's bent valves. Almost 99% of the time it's got bent valves. There are quite a few interference fit motors, but Hondas are the ones that if the timing belt breaks, it definitely bends valves. Sometimes you can get lucky on some of the other ones, some of the Fords and the Chryslers and stuff like that. Anyways, this is Wes Harrison with Above and Beyond Auto Repair. I hope this gives you some insights as to what to look for and what to listen for if you find yourself in a situation where the car won't start. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 816-453-8282, and I'll be more than happy to help you. And some locksmiths actually have the aftermarket versions of the reprogrammers for the Fords and the Chrysler I don't think, but I know Fords for sure. I'm not 100% sure on the Chryslers. But you can also call a locksmith, and they may be able to reprogram it at about half of what the dealer will charge you. So I hope these little tidbits help. Again, this is Wes Harrison with Above and Beyond Auto Repair, 816-453-8282. And of course, you can find us online at aboveandbeyondautorepair.com. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.